धनञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam thematic course. In this next section, which we began the discussion yesterday, the next section is from verses 23 to 29, where after establishing that it is bhakti which is free from karma and gyan, that is Shuddha Bhakti, that is the goal, and that is the highest benefit for all humanity. And only that bhakti can completely satisfy the self. Yenatma suprasiddhiti, that was the question posed by the sages. And it is only bhakti which can fully satisfy self. And that's why he concludes Sut Goswami in text 22, Atho vai kavayo nityam bhaktim paramaya muda vasudeva bhagavati kurvat atma prasadanim. Atma prasadanim means it fulfills the Atma to the complete degree, full satisfaction. And it is only bhakti. So this is answering the second question of the sages of Naimisharanya. Further on, the series from 23 to 29 discusses that it is only Bhagavan which is the object of this bhakti. This is not the question which the sages have asked, but it is a relevant discussion with respect to the question itself. So that is why Sut Goswami is further discussing these verses. And we saw yesterday the first in the series, that was Sattvam Rajas Tama. And I said this is one of the principal verses of analysis by Rupa Goswami in his Laghu Bhagavatamrit. And we saw that Vishwanath Chakra Thakur also quotes from the Laghu Bhagavatamrit in his commentary. So among the Purushavatars, sorry, Gunavatars. There is that one Purusha, Eka Purusha, who is Para, Yukta, he gets linked with Sattva Rajastama, which are the Prakriti Gunas, and accepts the forms of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva for creation, maintenance, and destruction. Sthit Adaya. And the names are Hari, Virinchi, Hareti, Sangya. They are called. And among the three, this Hari is, the avatar which is Shirodakshai Vishnu. He's called as Hari. And among the three, Shriyamsi Tatra Kalo, among the three, the highest benefit is Sattvatanur Ninam Suya, worship of the Vishnu, who is possessing uh, a body which is made of complete transcendence, Sattva Tanu, Vishuddha Sattva. It is the Vishuddha Sattva body. So yesterday we saw this discussion and Prabhupada's commentary and Vishwanath's commentary on this. So today we will continue our discussion further, and the same principle which was discussed in text 23, in 24, Sut Goswami gives an example to elaborate that same principle. Parthiva daruno dhumas tasmadagnistrayi maya tamasastu rajastasmat sattvam yad brahma darshanam. Smoke, dhumas, is superior to dull wood, parthivad, and fire, dharuno, sacred to the Vedas, trayamai, is superior to smoke, dhumas. Similarly, tasmat, therefore also it can be, rajas is superior to tamas, rajastus to tamas, and sattva is superior to rajas, sattvas to rajas. So it is favorable for realizing the Lord. Yad Brahma Darshanam. So this translation is Vishwanath Chakra Thakur's translation on this verse. Prabhupada translates it also in the same way. Firewood, that is Parthivad, is a transformation of earth. But smoke is better than raw wood. Dhumas, Dharuno, Dhumas. And fire is still better, Agni. For fire, we can derive the benefits of superior knowledge through Vedic sacrifices. Again, Prabhupada, Agni, Traimayi. Traimayi means the Vedic sacrifices. Similarly, Tasmat, Rajas is better to Tamas. Tamas astu Rajas Tasmat. But goodness is best. Sattvam, Yad. Because by goodness, one can come to realize the absolute truth. Yad Brahma Darshanam. Yad Brahma Darshanam. So let's go into Prabhupada's commentary and discuss this. As explained above, one can get release from conditioned life of material existence by devotional service to the personality of Godhead. Again, Prabhupada is using the term personality of Godhead because here it is Vishnu, which is being mentioned. So this has been proved in the previous verse only, that one has to only worship Vishnu, who is transcendental and by devotion, and then he can get out of material existence. The Devatas up to Shiva also can give better facilities in this material world, but they cannot give us liberation. It is further comprehended here that one has to rise to the platform of the mode of goodness, Sattva, so that one can be eligible for the devotional service of the Lord. So, to attain the Lord who is in pure goodness, one has to come to the platform of goodness. From goodness, you can go to pure goodness. But if there are impediments in the progressive path, anyone, even from the platform of tamas, can gradually rise to the sattva platform by the expert direction of the spiritual master. Now, this is the glory of pure devotional service. Even if he is in deep darkness, deep tamas, or even rajas, by the expert guidance of the spiritual master, he can come to the platform of goodness and then transcend even goodness. Sincere candidates must therefore approach an expert spiritual master for such a progressive march, and the bona fide expert spiritual master is competent to direct a disciple from any stage of life, be it Rajas, Tamas, or Sattva. Usually, the Brahmanas who are situated in the mode of goodness, they can easily take up to spiritual life. Brahma janati iti Brahmana, that's why it is said. But the process of pure devotional service under the expert guidance of the spiritual master is so potent that even if he is in any stage of life, Kirata, Huna, Pundra, Pulinda, Andhra, you know, Sarve Vishuddhanti, Tasmai, Subhadra, I don't recollect the verse, Sukhdev Goswami quotes this in his prayers. They can Prabhave Vishnu, they can all purify them and they can attain the lotus feet of Vishnu. It is a mistake, therefore, to consider that worship of any quality or any form of the personality of Godhead is equally beneficial. Except Vishnu, all separated forms are manifested under the conditions of material nature, and therefore the forms of material nature cannot help anyone to rise to the platform of Sattva, which alone can liberate a person from material bondage. So I was explaining yesterday, if you remember, there are the separated parts and the integrated parts, and they are all Vishnu Tattvas, the integrated parts. But the separated parts are the Jiva Tattvas, and even Brahma is the Jiva Tattva who is enveloped by the modes. And although Shiva is a very unique Tattva, he is neither Jiva Tattva nor Vishnu Tattva. He is his own unique tattva called as the Shiva tattva. So, although he is very exalted, but still he is also enveloped by the modes. So that's what Prabhupada is making this point. They have forms made of material energy, and that's why one cannot rise to the mode of goodness and attain liberation. The uncivilized state of life or the life of the lower animals is controlled by the mode of tamas. The civilized life of a man with a passion for various types of material benefits is the stage of Rajas. The Rajas stage of life gives a slight clue of the realization of the absolute truth in the forms of fine sentiments in philosophy, art, and culture with moral and ethical principles. But the mode of Sattva is a still higher stage of material quality, which actually helps one in realizing the absolute truth. So from Tamas means animal life. In passion, there is, creativity, philosophy, art, culture, principles. So there is a slight hint of, an inclination towards the absolute. But it is only the mode of goodness which helps in actually realizing the absolute truth. In other words, there is qualitative difference between the different kinds of worshipping methods as well as the respective results derived from the predominating deities, namely Brahma, Vishnu, and Hara. So, if one is in the mode of tamas, deep tamas, he worships Lord Shiva, and one is in rajas, he worships Brahma. So much of creation we do, creating new products, creating so many new things, and this gives a lot of, kind of happiness or kind of a state of fulfillment. But all this is from the mode of Rajas. So the predominating deities which we worship, and they give predominating, according to the deity worship, they give you results. But the highest result, that is liberation, can be got from Vishnu. So that is the point Prabhupada is making. I'll go through the commentary of Vishwanath Chakra Thakur and then we will take up the questions. Vishwanath Chakra Thakur's commentary again is quite philosophical, quite exhaustive also. Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva have the respective qualities of obscuring, agitating, and revealing knowledge. Tamas obscures, Rajas agitates, Sattva reveals. of these, Sattva is the best because it is not unfavorable to Shuddha Sattva. So this is the point. Sattva is not unfavorable to Shuddha Sattva. This is shown through an example. So this is shown through this example in this verse. Superior to wood, which is devoid of the quality of action and unable to reveal its nature, being unconscious, is smoke. So here I want to know from you, wood is representing what? Smoke is representing what? Raise your hands. Let me ask questions. Vinita Mataji, what is representing?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Wood, I think, would be tamas,
Yes, wood is
and
tamas
smoke.
because there is no activity,
Yes,
there's no
Prabhuji.
action. That's why those who are in tamas, they don't do it. And smoke is what?
Rajas,
Rajas. And what is
and
fire?
fire is sattva because it helps us for the Vedic sacrifices,
Yeah, even fire also, if you see when there is fire, there is illumination, right?
illumination. Yes.
Yes, excellent. Smoke has active nature. Smoke has active nature because there is activity. Superior smoke, however, is fire, which has the qualities of action and revelation. So there is both action, fire, but there is revelation. There is revelation. So we can see that smoke is agitating, whereas fire is revealing. Fire reveals what is around you. And, the actions are obscured in wood because everything is covered. So it's obscuring. It is called Traimai, related to the Vedas, because it is used in rituals mentioned in the Vedas. It is used in the rituals mentioned in the Vedas. Rajas, which is agitating, is superior to Tamas, which is inert. Tamas is inert. Rajas is agitating, but still it is superior. Sattva, being devoid of inertia, there is no inertia and agitation, is superior since it gives the vision of Brahman. Yad Brahma Darshanam. Yad Brahma Darshanam. So he quotes this verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Sattva sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha evacha pramado moha tamaso bhavato ajnanam evacha. Knowledge arises from sattva. Sattva sanjayate jnanam. Greed arises from rajas. Rajas lobha evacha. Inattention, pramad, confusion, moha, and ignorance. Ajnanam evacha arise from tamas. Tamaso bhavato. 14.17. It is not obstructed to Shuddha Sattva and does not cover it. So the Sattva is not obstructive to Shuddha Sattva, and first thing, and it doesn't cover. It does not interfere with seeing Brahman. It is thus an assistant in spiritual life. It assists us in spiritual life. Without bhakti, however, seeing the Lord or even impersonal Brahman is impossible. So please remember that sattva is also part of the material quality. And by sattva, we cannot attain the Lord. But sattva assists us in attaining the Lord. But we should remember that even Brahman, the uh, the Dhyanis have to be situated in sattva, but the impersonal Brahman is not revealed by sattva. The impersonal Brahman is revealed by the bhakti of that Gyan Yogi, which is one of the elements which he practices in his Gyan Sadhana, which reveals him Brahman. Which reveals him Brahman. Any verse you can quote from the Bhagavad Gita to substantiate what I said. Any verse from the Bhagavad Gita you can quote to substantiate my statement, and I hope you understood my statement. Yes, Birendra Yadav Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु प्रभु भक्त्या माम अभिजानाति यामान्यस्यास्मि तत्तत्
Okay. Any other one? Any other verse? One else? Priya Mataji. No response. Are you there? Okay, let us see what Vishnu Chakratagore quotes. This is confirmed later in the Bhagavatam. It is said that the Lord's form, Anando Brahmano Rupam, the Supreme Lord, has a form of bliss. The gunas of Maya, Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva cannot act independently on him. Mayam parite abhimuke cha vilajyamana. Maya flees from the Lord being ashamed. Thus, it is by the will of the Lord, by his touch alone, that Ananda becomes qualified by agitation in the form of Brahma. Being qualified by revelation, Anand becomes Vishnu, and being qualified by obscuration, Anand becomes Shiva. Since there is no damage when Anand is combined with revelation, Sattva, Vishnu is worthy of worship. So I wanted to quote the verses. Mam cha yo vabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sa gunan samkete tan brahma bhuyaya kalpate and brahmano hi pratishta aham. Because one can realize fire through wood, but not through smoke, tamas should be considered superior to rajas. Please mark this statement and understand. Because one can realize fire through wood, but not through smoke, tamas should be considered superior to rajas. But what is the verse saying? That rajas is superior to tamas. But here, Vishwanath Chandra Thakur is giving a deeper understanding. He is saying that one can realize fire through wood and not through smoke. And wood is compared to tamas, smoke is compared to rajas. So because fire can be realized through wood, so tamas should be considered superior to rajas. Now, in deep sleep, tamas, one has realization of oneness with Atma. So that is mentioned that when we go in our deep sleep, especially in the Sushupti state, we come in touch with Mahavishnu or Shirodakshai Vishnu, and we experience a kind of bliss. Everyone knows and has this experience when one is in very deep sleep, and when he comes out of his deep sleep and he feels a kind of pleasure. I had a very very satisfying deep sleep, you say. I'm feeling happiness. Are if you were in deep sleep, you're not conscious. How you experienced happiness? And how you're relating when you're now awake about that happiness? That means, although in the deep sleep, both the gross body is shut, the subtle body is also shut in one sense. And the soul is there and it is in the awakened state. The soul is always, there. So that is why the experiencer is there, the soul. And because, he's in a little close contact with Mahavishnu or Shirodakshai Vishnu in deep sleep, and that is why he's able to experience the bliss, Ananda. So that is why Vishwanath Chakra Thakur is bringing a different understanding, a deeper understanding that tamas is superior to rajas. And he will clarify this. Hold on, I will take the questions. Thus, some persons argue that between Brahma and Shiva, Shiva is better. So, between Brahma and Shiva, worship of Brahma and Shiva, Shiva is the mode of tamas, Brahma is the mode of passion, Shiva is better because by worshipping Shiva, many come to the worship of Vishnu. We know that, right? Thus, three are equal in that they are all avatars of the Lord. They are unequal in that Vishnu is not covered by gunas, whereas Brahma and Shiva are. Brahma and Shiva are covered by gunas, please remember. Thus, this is how the contrary statements of difference and non-difference of the Puranas can be harmonized. So that's how, we can harmonize different statements in the Puranas. The Shruti says, Asango hi ayam purusha. The Atma is not contaminated by the gunas. This is the Brahma, Brahad Aranik Upanishads. Though both Paramatma and Jivatma are by their constitutions devoid of the gunas, because Paramatma is a supreme Lord, an ocean of Chit, because he is independent in his actions, he remains Atmaram, self-enjoying, not subject to birth in the world, without diminution of his knowledge of himself, even though by his will he contacts the gunas and thus is in the possession of the effects of gunas such as anger. However, the jiva, because he is only a particle of chit, having very little ability of knowledge, and because he is controlled by the Lord and not independent and has very little power, he loses his knowledge of his real nature and takes birth in this world by contacting the gunas, where the gunas act upon him. So this is the difference between the Ishwar and the Jiva. So this is how Vishwanath Chagar Thakur explains this verse. Sud Goswami will conclude after giving this example. That's why how the great sages also worshipped only Vishnu, who is beyond the gunas. So I will first take the questions now based on this verse. Devhuti Kapil Prabhuji. Yes, what's the question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I was also actually meditating on that point which you were talking about what happens in sleep, right? So my contemplation was during sleep, our subtle body doesn't shut, our subtle body travels. That's what I was thinking because we get dreams, right?
Subtle
So
body
that is,
travels because it is in the sapna stage, the mode of passion, and there are a lot of desires. And to fulfill those desires, what we cannot fulfill with this gross body,
mm, mm,
we have so many imaginations of so many enjoyments in the heavenly realms of America or whatever it is. We don't have neither the
mm,
money nor the capacity. So in our imagination, we enjoy. So that happens through the subtle body. So subtle body has no limitation. So the mind travels, and that is more in the sapna stage. But in the Shushupti stage, it is even the subtle body doesn't function.
okay. So where can I read more about this, Prabhu? Like the Pramans for this?
It's all there in the Bhagavatam, Srimad
In
Bhagavatam,
Bhagavatam itself. Okay,
second
okay.
canto, third
Got,
canto, in
okay.
11th canto. And if you want to go deeper, Sotra Swami
Somewhere
Maharaj.
where it's all consolidated.
Huh?
Somewhere where it is all consolidated.
Yeah, it's
Like,
consolidated, but all this thing he has put up in his book called as the Vedanta Psychology.
who?
Sotra Swami Maharaj.
Okay, Vedanta psychology.
Vedanta
Okay,
Psychology. And
okay, all
there
right,
he
all right.
goes into the deeper aspects of all these functions of the creation and the Purusha Avatar, because how the mind is conditioned
Mm,
and the creation aspects. And there he speaks quite in detail about these states, the Jagrati, Shushupta, and Sapna, and which
okay,
deity, you're in contact with Jagrati state, which deity. I don't recollect, it is Pradyumna or Anirudh in Swapna, and it is which deity in Shushupti. All that quite in detail he goes into it. A
okay,
very, very philosophical book and difficult to
nice.
understand.
Okay.
But devotees who have
Thank you, bro.
can go through that. It is very helpful also.
Okay.
Any
I was
other
actually
question?
thinking of the same point 2 hours back. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other questions with respect to this verse? So let's go to the next few verses, complete this section. Tomorrow we'll complete this section. Probably we'll complete the chapter, and that will answer one more question. And the next 3 questions are answered in the next chapter, which we'll also briefly go through. Okay. Ravi Kant Prabhuji, yes. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Regarding this, one question is rising in my mind. Prabhuji, like there is no time when we, there is no time exists when we in the when we are in deep sleep. So it also exhibit that uh, uh, in the realm of Vaikuntha, there is no time. There is no time exists. So I mean to say that in this physical body itself, means in this existence also, we can feel the
I got a
uh,
question. I got a question. Yes, when you're in deep sleep, you know, the time effect doesn't act, but it is there.
yeah,
But at least for that moment, it doesn't. Just a minute, let me answer, and then at that moment it's not acting, and that's why maybe you might go for a half an hour deep sleep, and then when you get up, you're not conscious about time. The effect of time is not there for some time for you. But we are conditioned by the modes, and time means, time here has effect in the terms of past, present, and future, Kala Shakti. But in the spiritual world also, there is Kala Shakti, but there are no effects of the Kala Shakti. Kal is there in its original form, and there is no transformation in the form of, past, present, and future. So there is only continuous present. So here also we can experience to a small degree that when we go into that deep sleep. So that gives a hint for a spiritual life, and it gives an impetus for us to go into that zone where there is no effect of time. Time is there, time energy is there, time is the energy of the Krishna. In its original form, it is there in the spiritual world, where it is, in only continuous present. And there are no effects of the modes in the form of, uh, past, present, and future, which we can experience here. In the mode of passion, there is more of future anxieties. In the mode of tamas, there is, why did this happen? I lost that. Why did he say that? So all that are effects of the Kala Shakti in the form of past and future, and effects of the modes of passion and ignorance. Okay. So let us go to text 25. Bijare munayo atagre bhagavantam madokshajam satvam vishuddham shemaya kalpante anuktaniha. Therefore, atha, the ancient sages, agre, munayo, worship Bijare. Bijare means to, they worship bhajan. Supreme Lord beyond the material senses. Bhagavantam adokshajan. Composed of Vishuddha Sattva, Sattvam Vishuddham. Those who follow, Anu means to follow, the sages attain Kalpante, liberation, Shemaya in this world. So he concludes that it is only worship of Vishnu which can ultimately give us liberation. Prabhupada translates previously, Atha, all the great sages Muni to the personality of Godhead, Bhagavantam Adokshajam, due to his existence above the 3 modes of material nature. They worshipped him, Vijay, to become free from the material conditions and derive the ultimate benefit. Shemaya. Shemaya, he says, as the ultimate, derives ultimate. The ultimate benefit is liberation, and liberation means to be situated in your Sarupa from the material world. They followed these great authorities, Anu, Iha, in the material world. Iha. So let's go to Prabhupada's commentary on this. The purpose of performing religion is neither for material profit, neither to profit from material gain, nor to get a simple knowledge of discerning matter from spirit. The karmis are more for material gain. The jnanis are discerning matter and spirit. The ultimate aim of religious performances is to release oneself from the material bondage and regain a life of freedom in the transcendental world, where the personality of Godhead is the supreme person. Laws of religion, therefore, are directly enacted by the personality of Godhead, and except for the Mahajans or the authorized agents of the Lord, no one knows the purpose of religion. There are 12 particular agents of the Lord who know the purpose of religion, and all of them render transcendental service unto him. Now, carefully think about it and please answer me. Prabhupada, in his whole purport, and especially the third and the fourth point, what part of the verse is he commenting on? I'm showing the verse. Which line of the verse or which particular word, Sanskrit word of the verse is Prabhupada commenting on? Think about it and raise your hands. Who will answer? Sunita Mataji. Not present, I think. Vasant Prabhuji. No response. Priya Mataji.
Sattvam Vishuddham.
Om Vishuddham. Birendra Yadav Prabhuji. Are you there?
uh, uh,
Okay, Vinita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Is it Bhagwantam Adokshaja?
Bhagavatam Adoshajam, yes, all worship, we should worship Vishnu, and all great sages worship Vishnu. But here, one particular term, Prabhupada is commenting in detail. Yes, Devahuti Kapil Prabhuji. Have unmuted you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I think Prabhupada is commenting about Athagre Munayo. Athagre Munayo.
That is, the sages.
All,
Atha means
yeah, the
therefore,
sages.
the sages. But he's in the purport we see, he's quoting these
Mahajan.
Mahajans.
Yeah, okay. I
So,
thought the ancient sages, okay.
and then he's quoting, yes, they are all ancient sages. Prabhupada is quoting on, Anu, to follow these
Okay.
Mahajans, great Mahajans.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Prabhupada is quoting on that. That entire verse, he's quoting on Anu to follow these. The great sages, is to worship Vishnu and just follow in their footsteps. And whom we have to follow? The Mahajans. Prabhupada is speaking about it. Persons who desire their own good, Shemayam, may follow these Mahajans and thus attain the supreme benefit. Very short purport, but very deep. Vishwanath Thakur. Thus, Ataha, The sages in ancient times worship the Supreme Lord, who is Vishuddha Sattva. So this is now clarified what was in 1-2-23. Sattvatanu. Sattvatanu refers to Sattvam Vishuddham, Vishuddha Sattva. Vishuddha Sattva means having a body composed of Chit Shakti arising from his Sarup, not the material Sattva, because Shruti says, Vidya Vidyabhyam Vinnam. The Lord is neither material knowledge, Sattva, nor ignorance. Gopal Tapani Upanishads. Furthermore, the Shruti says, Chayatapo Yatra Na Gridra Paksho. In the Lord, there is no ignorance or knowledge which causes prejudice towards the jivas. Sattva Jnanam Jnana Anantananda Matrika Rasamurtaya. The Vishnu Murtis all have had eternal, unlimited forms, full of knowledge and bliss, existing beyond the influence of time. So many pramans that Vishnu's body is made of Vishuddha Sattva of Chit Shakti. 3 pramans is given right now. Gopal Upanishads, Bhagavatam 8th chapter, 8th canto, 10th canto. Because the body of Vishnu is beyond Maya, one cannot say that Vishuddha Sattva means the Vidya arising from Maya Shakti. The Maya Shakti has this Vidya potency and the Avidya potency. And there is the Pradhan, which gives bodies to the Jivas and the bodies of this universe. So the paths of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga, ultimately, they are part of the Vidya potency by which we destroy Avidya. But Bhakti is not even the Vidya potency. It is completely the Sarup Shakti of the Lord. Similarly, Lord Vishnu's body is arising from his Sarupa, and it is nothing to do with the Vidya or the Vidya potency or the Maya Shakti. The persons who follow after Anu, these sages are qualified for liberation, Shemaya, in this world. So follow, Prabhupada elaborated that follow the 12 Mahajans. Okay. Any questions or can we go ahead? Any questions, any clarifications? This verse, anyone has any questions? No. Okay, so let us go to the next verse. Further, Sud Goswami says how one should reject the ghastly forms of the demigods and worship the Vishnu Murtis. Mumukshavo ghora rupan hitva bhuta patin atha narayana kalashanta bhajanti hi anusuyava. Rejecting hitva, the frightful forms, ghoram. Actually, it's not hitva here, it should have been ghoram. Ghora rupam it should be. The frightful forms, Shiva and other devatas, Bhutapatinatha. He is the Bhutapati. This material world is made of Pancha Mahabhuta and is Bhutapati. Person's desires of liberation, Mumukshavo, what to speak of the devotees, without criticizing those devas, he Anusuyave worship Bhajanti, the avatars of Narayan. Narayan Kala Shanta. This is again Vishwanath Chakra Thakur's translation. Prabhupada translates this as those who are serious about liberation, Mumukshu, are certainly non-envious. He Anusavya, and they respect all. Yet they reject the horrible and the ghastly forms of the demigods. Hitva Ghora Rupan and worship Bhajante only the all blissful forms of Vishnu and his plenary portions. That is Narayana Kalashanta Bhajantihi. That's how Prabhupada translates. So let's go to the commentary of Prabhupada, which is quite exhaustive. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Now Prabhupada here uses Supreme Personality of Godhead for Krishna, who is the original person of the Vishnu categories, expands himself into 2 different categories, namely the integrated plenary portions and the separated plenary portions, parts and parcels. So this is the Vishnu Tattva and the Jiva Tattvas. The separated parts and parcels are the servitors, and the integrated plenary portions of Vishnu Tattvas are the worshipable objects of service. So there's the servitors and the objects of service. The servitors are the Jiva Tattvas, and the objects of service are the Vishnu Tattvas. Paragraph 2. All demigods who are empowered by the Supreme Lord are also separated parts and parcels. So they are not, the objects of service. They do not belong to the category of Vishnu Tattva. The Vishnu Tattvas are living beings equally as powerful as the original form of the personality of Godhead, and they display different categories of power in consideration of different times and circumstances. So, Kapila is also Krishna, but in that form, he exhibits his Jnana Aishwarya. Mohini is also Krishna, but he exhibits his Shri, beauty. So like that, each of the avatars exhibit a particular power which is based on different times and circumstances. But Krishna exhibits all in full. The separated parts and parcels are powerful by limitation. They do not have unlimited power like the Vishnu Tattvas. Therefore, one should never classify the Vishnu Tattvas or the plenary portions of Narayan, the personality of Godhead, in the same categories with the part and parcels. One who equates the Jiva to Narayan, he's a Pashandi. If anyone does, oh, it's here. I did not know. If anyone does so, he becomes at once an offender by the name Pashandi. In the age of Kali, many foolish persons commit such unlawful offenses and equalize the two categories. There is Daridra Narayan philosophy. How can Narayan be Daridra if Lakshmi is always with him, serving him? So all these bogus philosophies, it's very offensive. The separated parts and parcels have different positions in the estimation of the material powers, and some of them are like Kala Bhairava, Samshana Bhairavi, Shani, Mahakali, and Chandika. So this Prabhupada is specifically quoting the Ghora Rupas here. These demigods are worshipped mostly by those who are in the lowest categories of the mode of darkness or ignorance. So they have some positions and material powers. Please remember that. Other demigods like Brahma, Shiva, Surya, Ganesh, and many similar deities are worshipped by men in the mode of passion, urged on by the desire for material enjoyment. In fact, in countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, there are worships of Ganesh because they want a lot of power for enjoying. So there is worship of Ganesh. Even now also you can see that. But those who are actually situated in the mode of goodness, Sattva Guna, of the middle nature, worship only Vishnu Tattvas. Vishnu Tattvas are represented by various names and forms such as Narayan, Damodar, Vamana, Govinda, Adoksha. Narayana Kala Shanta. The qualified Brahmanas worship the Vishnu Tattvas represented by Shaligram Shila, and some of the higher castes like the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas also generally worship the Vishnu Tattvas. Highly qualified Brahmanas situated in the mode of goodness have no grudges against the mode of worship of others. So one should not be having envy towards others who worship these Ghora Rupas, because ultimately they are in the modes and gradually they are making progress. They have all respect for the other demigods, even though they may look ghastly like Kala, Bhairavi and Mahakali. So we should respect the demigods because the demigods are appointed representatives of the Lord, and they have powers which are bestowed by the Lord to them. So we should have respect, and if we disrespect, then that is also an offense. They know very well that those horrible features of the Supreme Lord are all different servitors of the Lord under different conditions. Yet they reject the worship of both the horrible and attractive features of the demigods. because they concentrate only on the forms of Vishnu, because they are serious about liberation from the material conditions. So the devotees understand that all these demigods are also the servants of the Lord, who are acting as the cosmeters on behalf of the Lord. So they are devotees of the Lord. So the Brahmanas or the devotees here in this world, they respect them as devotees, or they are the vibhutis of the Lord. In that way, we have to see. Or we should see that in their heart also the Lord is situated as Paramatma, Adhishtan it is called. So these are the three ways we should see the demigods. And this is very important. And Srila Jiva Goswami mentions how we should see the demigods. We should see the demigods as devotees and we should respect them. We should see them as vibhutis, as in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the vibhutis are being described. Or we should see them as Adhishtan, that the Lord is situated in their heart. So when we see the Suryanarayan and worship Suryanarayan, we don't worship the sun planet, but we worship the Lord who is situated in the heart of the sun god. So that's how we should see. And that's why in the Gayatri Mantra, sometimes it is mentioned that it is the Brahma Gayatri, especially it is referring to the sun planet. But the Vaishnava understanding is deeper. It refers to the Lord who is seated in the heart of Suryanarayan. The demigods, even at the stage of Brahma, even to the stage of Brahma, the supreme of all the demigods cannot offer liberation to anyone. Shemaya. Prabhupada is giving the extreme example. Hiranyakashipu underwent a severe type of penance to become eternal in life. But his worshipable deity Brahma could not satisfy him with such blessings. Therefore, Vishnu and none else is called Muktipad, or the personality of Godhead who can bestow upon us mukti, liberation. The demigods, being like other living entities in the material world, are all liquidated at the time of annihilation of the material structure. Even the demigods will be destroyed. What to say? Even Brahma was a Jagadanda Karta, the secondary creator. If he is not a pure devotee, then he will not go back to Godhead. He will again, his life will be over and again he will merge in the body of Mahavishnu along with the Jivas and again he will come out. They are themselves unable to get liberation, and what to speak of giving liberation to their devotees. The demigods can award the worshippers some temporary benefit only and not the ultimate benefit. It is for this reason only that the candidates for liberation deliberately reject Shemaya Mumukshvo Hitva Ghora Rupan, the worship of the demigods, although they have no disrespect for any one of them. So let's go to Prabhupada's commentary and then take up the questions. Vishnu Chakatakur, Bhutapatin, as well as meaning forms of Shiva, also indicates Pitras, Brahma, and others. Anusuya means they do not criticize those devatas. Criticism of devatas is a serious offense. I remember many years back, I was in Mayapur after the Navdeep Dham Mandal Parikrama, and there was a Ganga Puja just happened on the bank of Ganga, and we all went there, and the devotee who was giving the lecture heavily started criticizing Lord Indra. It was, February, March. There's no question of the rainy season there. But I could feel uneasy. Other brahmacharis felt uneasy, We could see that, it was a heavy criticism. And suddenly there was wind, storm, heavy rain. The whole pandal, the whole pandal with the chairs were all erupted because of the heavy wind. Everything fell. They could not even distribute the prasads. They could not complete the puja. So sometimes devotees become too extreme because they think they are worshipping Vishnu and they think that they can make any critical comments of the Devatas. Devatas have to be respected because they are the servants of Vishnu. They are devotees. Please remember that. So that's with respect to text 26. Any questions you have? Any questions? Okay, we will take up another verse. Yeah, we will take up this verse and then tomorrow we will conclude this discussion of the second chapter. Okay. Devati Kapil Prabhuji has a question. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhuji, you were talking about Kapila Muni, right? So, Kapila Muni, Rishabdev, they all come under Jiva Tattva?
No, no, no. They are all incarnations of the Lord with particular potency. It depends. Again, that categorization is given again in the Lagu Bhagavatamrit. Kapil Dev is directly Bhagwan and he represents the Jnana Shakti of the Lord. Regarding Rishabdev, I'll have to see. I cannot comment. I remember it. I had studied it and I'd heard also from a very senior devotee of Prabhupada. No, I had this question. Whether
So,
he
Kapil
comes
Dev is
that,
Krishna Tattva.
huh?
Kapil
Kapil is
Dev is
Vishnu
Krishna.
Tattva. Kapil is Vishnu
Krishna.
Tattva. There's
Okay,
no
okay,
doubt.
Krishna Tattva. Okay, okay.
There's no doubt. Even Prithu also is not coming in the category of Vishnu Tattvas. He is the Prajapalana Shakti. He is endowed with the Shakti of the Prajapalana, to do the Prajapalana.
But at the end of the day, it's Jiva Tattva, right?
Again, I'll have to clarify. I'll have to go through
Okay,
Lagu,
okay,
get a clear
okay, Prabhu.
understanding. I don't want to comment or speculate.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, Prabhu.
let's take this last verse for today's discussion, and tomorrow we'll complete this chapter, and next week we'll start the next chapter, and that also we'll complete quite soon and end this third series. Rajastama Prakritaya Samashila Bhajanti Ve Pitrabhuta Pradeshadin Shri Aishwarya Prajaspaswa Ipsava, desirers of progeny, praja, and power along with wealth, Sri Aishwarya, having nature of Rajastamas, Rajastama Prakritya, corresponding to the natures of their deities, worship, Samashila Bhajanteve, the Pitras, Shiva, Brahma, and others, Pitra Bhuta Pradeshan. So the question might be, if the highest Shemaya can be attained by Vishnu, then why people do worship these demigods who are Ghora Rupan? So here Sud Goswami is answering, because they have a desire for progeny, wealth, Shri, Aishwarya, power. So they are situated in these modes, Prakritya, and they worship those deities which represent those modes. Prabhupada, there is no need to worship demigods of whatsoever category one is serious about going back to Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita 7:20-23, it is clearly said that those who are mad after material enjoyment approach the different demigods for temporary benefits, which are meant for men with poor fund of knowledge. Kamasteste ritagyana prapadyante anya devata. We should never desire to increase the depth of material enjoyment. Material enjoyment should be accepted only up to the point of bare necessities of life and not more or less than that. So where is this principle explained in this very chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which we discussed in the Bhagavat Dharma series? Where is this principle Prabhupada is quoting? Which verse exemplifies this principle which Prabhupada is stating here? Anyone knows? Raise your hands. Anyone knows? Virendra Yadav Prabhuji? It is kamestane indra priti jivata yavata jivasya tattva jigyasa. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. So it is in 1, 2, 8, 9, 10, 11. Kamastra Nendra Priti, Labo Jiveta Yavata, Jivasa Tattva Jigyasa, Narto Yascha Karma. One should live his life not for sense gratification, but for the bare necessities of life. To accept more material enjoyment means to bind oneself more and more to the miseries of material existence. More wealth, Shriya, more women, and false aristocracy are some of the demands of the materially disposed man because he has no information of the benefit derived from Vishnu worship. By Vishnu worship, one can derive benefit in this life as well as in life after death. Forgetting these principles, foolish people who are after more wealth, more wives, more children worship various demigods. The aim of life is to end the miseries of life and not to increase them. For material enjoyment, there is no need to approach the demigods. The demigods are but the servants of the Lord. As such, they are duty bound to supply necessities of life in the form of water, light, and air. One should work hard and worship the Supreme Lord by the fruits of one's hard labor for existence, and that should be the motto of life. One should be careful to execute occupational service with faith in God in the proper way, and that will lead one gradually to progressive march back to Godhead. Lord Sri Krishna, when he was personally present in Vrajadham, stopped the worship of the demigod Indra and advised the residents of Vraj to worship by their business and to have faith in God. Worshipping the demigods for material gain is practically a perversity of religion. This sort of religious activity has been condemned from the beginning of the Bhagavatam as Kaitava Dharma. There is only one religion in the world to be followed by one and all, and that is the Bhagavad Dharma, or the religion which teaches one to worship the Supreme Personality Godhead and no one else. In the Gita Mahatmya also Shankaracharya makes, this point. Eko Devaki Putra, Eko Mantrasnamani, Dharma pe ekasya Devasya Seva. Vishnu Chakravarti, Prakrita means having the nature of. These natures are similar to those of Pitra, Shiva, and other devatas. Shriya is an instrument against, means along with wealth. Shriya, along with wealth they want. So Vishnu Chakravarti's commentary is very brief, but I hope the point is very clear. So any questions for this verse? This verse we will take tomorrow because it's quite long purport and it is very, very important verse that we will take up tomorrow. Any questions, any clarifications? Okay, then we will stop now. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.